well done to West Ham United. They've finally given up on signing Jesse Lingard. I'm quite sure this will be spun a series of different ways, but as I understand it, West Ham just did not offer Lingard a contract in the end. So some of the stories go, we got a little bit fed up. Fabrizio Romano has reported that he's gone to train with the Saudi team who are managed by Steven Gerrard. That's a really interesting one, actually, because as Gio pointed out, they seem to be the ones who don't have any money. And we heard this before because they wanted to take Mikel Antonio, but they couldn't afford him. Imagine being the only skint football club in Saudi Arabia when everyone's minted. So I'm like, oh, do you know what I mean? It's like turning up at a Lamborghini convention in a larder, isn't it, really? But funny enough, talking about Lamborghini conventions, Jesse Lingard has just been prosecuted for his second driving offence in a matter of months. He was caught drink driving his Lamborghini, basically. He was drinking and driving. Hey, who said men can't multitask? So I jest, of course, it's a terrible thing. It's a disgusting thing. And I think reason enough for West Ham not to hire him. And I think this has probably played some part in it. When Lingard first came back to West Ham at the start of this sort of pre-season, before this season, we were hearing loads of things about his attitude. His attitude is really good. He's a changed man. There's lots of platitudes. He was gonna. Do you remember this one? He was gonna curtail some of his social media output. He'd been a really good influence in the training ground. I don't doubt that, by the way. I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was really sort of bubbly, effervescent character and a good guy to have around at the training ground. I've got to say, I didn't notice the social media hiatus. I was still seeing things, pop up. Not that I follow him, but you sort of operate in this West Ham sphere, as you know. You've only got to follow a couple of accounts on West Ham accounts on social media, and you will see Jesse Lingard stuff, whether you want to see it or whether you don't. You'll see it on there, and I certainly felt he was still doing his social media stuff, but it's more, I think, the vibe of what he was saying, which was, I'm a changed man, I'm committed. This is new. It's new Jesse. It's new Jesse. And, well, first of all, because I did a little bit of a silly video about it, when he got caught speeding, and then he got a fine, didn't he, because he'd given a false name, which I said it might have been Jesse Lingard, if you remember. It actually wasn't. I found out the next day what the false name was. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was like George something. It was a funny one anyway, but he'd given a false name. So this is actually his second motoring conviction. What I found weird about reading about the most recent one was that he didn't. It was a fine. I think he got a fine of sort of £56,000 or something like that, which is they made it comparable to a week's wages or something like that. So yeah, you and I wouldn't have got 56,000. Hey, maybe you would. You might be Jesse Lingard watching this, in which case you did. But we wouldn't get that sort of fine. What I find amazing is that he didn't get a driving ban. I think you should probably get a driving ban for drink driving anyway. I think if you've had two motoring offences in quite close succession, how you're still able to drive around, I don't know. Look, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I just didn't read the small print and he had received a driving ban. I think that my point is, without going too much detail into it, this is sort of bad news that the club really don't need. And I think with David Moyes can hold his head up high with regard to Jesse Lingard, because David Moyes has treated Jesse Lingard far better than Jesse Lingard has treated David Moyes in this one. I think Moyes can look back on it and say, well, actually, here was a guy without a club, and I thought I'd give him the opportunity to try and get fit and to try and prove himself. So David Moyes has afforded him that opportunity. If Jesse Lingard is going to go to Saudi Arabia now, he's going to hit the ground running. He's going to go training with Steven Gerrard's team for a month and get a contract. It's been David Moyes has been getting him fit, and the West Ham coaches have been getting him fit for the last month. I think that this is really good. I also think it's the right thing for West Ham. Absolutely the right thing to do. But I just think, well done, David Moyes, on that. Firstly, for being the bigger guy. It's not the first time he's done it, but for being a bigger guy on it. But secondly, for ultimately making a decision, which it may have just have been a 100% football decision. It might have been a 70% football decision, and then thinking, well, hold on a second, he's getting in trouble. He's in court again. And he's tweeting. He posted whatever, tweeting, Instagramming, whatever, Snapchatting, whatever it is. There's a really obscure one of him, picture of his feet up on a table and his socks or something. I couldn't attest to whether they were expensive socks or not. I don't think they were Prime Marnie ones, though, to be perfectly honest with you. And I just wonder if they thought, you know what, we don't need the baggage, because there is baggage with Jesse Lingard. There really is. He is in the newspapers for the wrong reasons. For social media, for court cases. When was the last time you picked up a newspaper? I was going to say, when was the last time you picked up a newspaper? When was the last time you picked up a newspaper? Never mind, picked up a newspaper and read about, Jesse Lingard scoring a goal or something like that. So I think it's probably important for him that he gets back to being a footballer. But look, I'm clearly not hiding it, even if I am trying to do so. I'm pleased. I'm pleased that we're not going to sign him for obvious reasons. For the football decision, well, we don't need him. We don't need him. Pablo Fornals and Maxwell Cornet can't get in the team. In certain instances, they may not be able to get on the bench. Kudus looks like he's going to be really, really effective. Certainly can play in Jesse Lingard's position and could, let's be fair, probably do it better. Looks like he's a goal machine. He's got loads and loads of goals in him. We spoke about him in yesterday's video, of course. Bowen appears to, he's got the sniffles or whatever at the moment. Seems to be in really good form. Antonio looks to be, in pretty much beast mode for most games, or a lot of the games. We've got Ben Rama. Paquetá looks like one of the best players in Europe. Well, he just does, doesn't he? And then we've just got this goal and assist machine in James Ward-Prowse, whose output is phenomenal. Souček's back scoring goals as well. And where does Jesse Lingard fit in? I don't think he does. I don't think, even, look at the game we just played in Europe against TSC Bakatopola, and would he have featured in that? I don't think he would. I don't think he'd have got a game. And then just sort of finally, I want to sort of mention George Earthy, who has scored again for the under-21s against Southampton in Premier League 2 last night. Obviously, he'd scored against Bristol Rovers in the EFL Trophy as well. Immensely talented attacking midfielder, and I think at some point you've got to leave a pathway open to some of these guys, haven't you? To some of these kids. There's no doubt about it, and particularly ones that are exceptionally talented there. So I just don't see a need. Look, we got the senior pros that can play attacking midfield. People like Fornals, who's 27, 28, whatever he is. We got the players in their early 20s like Kudus who can play attacking midfield. We got the Brazilian international, all right, not at the moment, but you know what I mean, who can play attacking midfield. And then we got the outstanding crop of young talent in the country who won the FA Youth Cup last season. There's just no space. There's no room. And I think if you add that in to the social media, the drink driving and all the other stuff, you know what? It just ain't worth it. So it's adios. I don't know why I've gone foreign on that. It's goodbye. Au revoir. Whatever. Arrivederci. Anyway, it's see you later. Jesse Lingard.